I've officially written a newsletter for 1 full year. And over the span of that year, I've been able to grow it to over 13,600 subscribers. I'm going to share with you the 8 things I've learned over this past year, and hopefully that can help you build and grow a newsletter as well. So, the first thing I've learned, and this is probably one of the biggest things, is you have to be consistent. You have to show up every day that you said you would. So, if you said you were going to write a newsletter once a week, you have got to get a newsletter out once a week. If you said you're going to write it once a month, you have to get it out once a month. If you said you're going to write it every day, it has to go out every day. You need to be consistent and show your audience that you're doing what you said you would. If you were promising an everyday newsletter and you're skipping days here and there, your audience is going to lose interest. They're going to lose trust in your ability to do what you say you're going to do. For my newsletter, which is called The Simple American, it is a quick 1-minute daily news brief. The biggest news stories of the day that focus on politics, economics, and business, broken down in bullet point form in a quick, simple, unbiased, and digestible way. I write it Monday through Friday. That's what I said I was going to do, and I have done it this entire year. Every day, Monday through Friday, a newsletter has been sent out. And that I feel like has been a major key for me in terms of growth. People can trust me. People can know that I'm going to send out the newsletter every day. They can, when they're at 8 o'clock Eastern time, they know that newsletter is going to be in their inbox Monday through Friday. So be consistent. Number 2, in the beginning, knock, call, text, DM, cold email, whatever, to grow. In the beginning, you should have no shame when you're trying to grow your newsletter. You don't have a lot of resources. You don't really know what you're doing. So the easiest way to grow is just tell people about it. I remember when I was first starting my newsletter, and literally the first newsletter I sent out was to 7 people, which is just like my family and like a couple of my closest friends. What I would do to grow in the beginning is I would go on Instagram, go under everyone I followed, and individually DM them and say, hey, hope all's well. I'm writing a little newsletter and I'd really like it if you subscribed. It would mean a lot to me. And I'd send them the link to the newsletter to subscribe. And that's how I grew to my first 100, 200, 300, 400 subscribers. In the beginning I was just cold DMing people, asking them to subscribe. That's how I kind of got going. But if you're in a similar boat and you're a really small newsletter, send out cold emails, send it out to text to friends, families, teammates, whoever, and just ask them to subscribe. It'll help you gain momentum and build up your subscriber list early on. Number 3, the subject line is very important. Your subject line is kind of like your gatekeeper to your content and to your newsletter. So you want to make sure that it helps you stand out in people's inboxes. And it helps them give you a little preview of what they're going to be getting in your newsletter. So for example, my newsletter, because it's kind of focused on current events and, political, business, and economics news, my subject line kind of focuses on the major story that happened in the day. And that kind of, in my view, has been something that has kind of piqued people's interest, made them intrigued to click on the newsletter and fully read it. Your subject line is really important with helping with, things like open rate, right? How many people are opening your newsletter? So make sure your subject line is, intriguing, it creates interest, and it kind of revolves around what you're writing. 4, get feedback from your subscribers and adjust. You can do this by individually reaching out to subscribers, or you can do things like putting polls in your newsletter to kind of gain data and kind of get a feel for what your newsletter's subscribers are feeling, what they're thinking, and what they want more of. I remember early on in writing my newsletter, I would talk personally to subscribers because, a lot of them in the beginning, like I said, were me DMing people. So I knew a lot of my early subscribers, and I would ask them, do you like this? What do you want more of? What would you like to see? And I would make adjustments. Some things that I think I made adjustments for were I started including hyperlinks onto my bullet points about the news of the day to give people more info. In the beginning, my whole idea was I want to just put a simple, 1 to 2 sentence bullet point about what happened in the day in an unbiased fashion, and then if people wanted to get more information on that, then they could do their own research and figure it out. I didn't want to really be getting in the middle of including a source, just in case that source was, right wing or left wing. But as I went on and kind of found out, people people wanted more info. People wanted hyperlinks. So I started including hyperlinks to, different sources for people to get more information on the bullet points I was putting in my newsletter. That's one way I made an adjustment. One kind of funny thing is I had a subscriber who I didn't know reach out to me and say that they want to see more comics and thought that that would be a cool thing to add to my newsletter. So I started doing a comic of the week where I would find a comic online, whether it be from an old newspaper or kind of a newer comic or whatever, and I would put it in, and I put it in on Wednesdays, and it's a comic of the week, and it's gotten a lot of great responses on it. People like it. I also started adding a quote of the day. A lot of people have really enjoyed that, saying it's at the end of the newsletter. It's a great way for them to end their night or start their morning, whether they read my newsletter in the night or the morning. So that's just one thing, is just listen to your subscribers, listen to what they're asking for, what they want, and don't be afraid to tweak your newsletter and make adjustments. Number 5, referrals are key. If you are writing a newsletter, and once you kind of gain some traction, get, an early group of subscribers, you want to find other newsletters that you can refer to your subscribers and they can refer to theirs. This is a way to kind of fast track growth. If you can find good referral partners that are happy to shout out your newsletter and help you promote it, it'll just help you grow even faster. So that was kind of key for me. I found some good people to refer their newsletter and also refer mine, and it helped me with a lot of growth that I didn't have to actively work for, because I'll just wake up one morning and have 15 new subscribers that came from a referral partner of mine, which is great. It's amazing. So referrals are super important when trying to grow your newsletter. And it's a way that once you find these referral partners, you kind of have to do less work with growth and you can focus more on the content. So if you're trying to grow a newsletter, find referral partners. I write my newsletter on Beehive, and they have a great, referral network. They have great things called boosts and ways to kind of grow your newsletter all on the platform. So check that out. Number 6, just start. If you are contemplating writing a newsletter and are kind of hemming and hawing because you don't know what to write about, or you don't know how to format it, or you don't know the type of content you want to put in it, that doesn't matter. If you want to start a newsletter and have an idea for, a topic or a niche you want to write about, just start. Because if you start, then you can make adjustments. You can figure out what content works and what content doesn't. And, you can get better at writing. Newsletters are such a unique, space, because there's so many different types of newsletters, so many different options for newsletters. You can send newsletters out in the morning, you can send them out at night. You can have them super niche and be about, cooking for women over the age of 60, or they can be super broad about, global politics, whatever. If you have an idea in your head and want to get writing a newsletter, just start. Because the earlier you start, the earlier you can kind of learn what it takes to grow. You can learn what content works really well, and you can learn how to build your audience. So stop sitting around, stop doing too much research, stop overthinking it. Open up your computer, create a Beehive account or a Substack account or a Kit account, and just start your newsletter. Even if you're only sending it to 1 or 2 people, just start. It'll help you gain some momentum. Number 7, if you want to grow rapidly and you are incredibly serious about your newsletter, paid ads are the way to go. In my experience, if you really want to grow quickly, find someone who's really good at creating social media ads for newsletters and pay them to help you grow. I saved up some money that I was working, and used some birthday money, some holiday money that I got to invest in my newsletter. And I grew insanely fast with paid ads online. I found a great guy. His name's Manny Reyes. He does newsletter ads on social media for, Instagram, Facebook. And I invested some money with him, and I probably grew 5,000 subscribers in the span of 3 months, 4 months maybe. It was crazy. So if you're super serious about growth and you have the money to invest in the newsletter, then don't fiddle around with other things. Find someone who's really good at newsletter ads on social media, pay them, and you will see growth, I promise. And number 8, the last thing, is that it just takes time. The biggest thing I've learned over this last year with writing my newsletter is that it just takes time to grow. It takes time to find your voice, it takes time to build your audience, it takes time to connect with your subscribers, it takes time to learn what's working and what doesn't. It's just part of the process. You can't start a newsletter and think that it's going to be amazing and you're going to reach 1 million subscribers in a week. It just doesn't happen. You need to take the time to really cherish your audience, at every stage. When you're 1 month in and you only have 20 subscribers, you still need to act like you have 10 million subscribers. And you need to take it as serious day one as you're going to take it, day 365 or beyond that. But again, it can get really frustrating, especially when you're stagnant, and maybe there are times when you're losing subscribers because people just lose interest, and that's okay. That just means your newsletter wasn't for them. But the biggest thing is you have to be patient, because in order to really build and grow a quality newsletter, it's going to take a lot of time and effort. It's not going to happen overnight. So if you are trying to start a newsletter and are thinking about getting into it, if you don't have the mindset that it's going to be a lot of hard work and it's going to take time to really grow it and turn it into the vision that you want it to be, then you're kind of dead before you even start. So those are the 8 things I've learned over this past year on writing my newsletter. Again, you can write newsletters about anything. My newsletter is called The Simple American, and it is a daily news brief. I know I've talked about this in the past, but the story behind it is I just wanted to write something that was a quick 1-minute read for my friends so that they could stay up to date on what was going on, in the world around them. I wanted to help particularly friends in college that were, poli-sci, business, economics majors, so that they could just get a quick grasp on what was going on, so that when they walked into class and we were talking about current events, they could at least say, oh yeah, I heard about that, and they could have a conversation about it. That's kind of the premise behind a newsletter. That's why I started it. And that's why I continue to work on it, continue to grow it. So that's kind of my story. I've been writing my newsletter for officially 1 full year. I'm very proud that I've been able to stick with it and be so consistent over this last year. I have grown it to over 13,600 subscribers, which has been, a ride. Have had to do a lot of different things to get to that number. So very proud of that number as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please feel free to like the video. Give me a comment, give me some feedback. I'd love to hear it. But thank you guys for watching this one. And if you're wanting to start a newsletter, get going.